congratulations to you and to your team on this launch event. This manifesto is indeed a timely document, and I'd say, in fact, that it has seized the time as we enter a period of profound historical change with the decline of US imperialism, as previous speakers have mentioned, giving way to a new world configuration of power. I think the starting point really is quite a simple proposition, that amidst multiple crises the world faces today, the climate catastrophe, pandemic, the crisis of inequality and precarious economies, of reactionary nationalism and racism, what is needed above all is international cooperation to prioritise people's needs. Yet at precisely this time, relations between the two most influential powers, the US and China, are deteriorating alarmingly. The manifesto not only gives us the historical context here, but does so by setting out its core contradictions between developing and developed countries, imperialism and anti-imperialism, capitalism and socialism, contradictions which overlay, subsume and intertwine each with the other. Robert Cox described the international as a terrain of struggle. This struggle has now come to pivot increasingly on the relationship between the US, the largest developed country, and China as the largest developing country. The US, the declining power, clinging to world dominance with a ferocious tenacity, and China serving to lift all boats in a rising tide of world development, and in so doing unleashing a process of world multipolarization. So these various contradictions are now becoming concertina together, following the world financial crisis of 2008, to emerge all the more clearly in the light of the recent dramatic events. If the 2008 crisis punctured the neoliberal myths, the fiasco of the 20-year war in Afghanistan is leaving US credibility as a benevolent world leader in tatters. Meanwhile, China, now turning towards common prosperity, a development surely as significant as the adoption of the open door policy 40 years ago, this shows that the path forward is indeed, as the manifesto title grasps, through pluripolarity to socialism. The US withdrawal from Afghanistan is not, as we know, the end of warmongering, nor the end of US efforts to shape the world in the interests of its own primacy, with the sovereignty and rights of developing countries coming under constant pressure. The way will be mapped out in part, at least, by shifts in the relative strengths of the United States and China, as measured by their military, economic and technological power. But as we know, the concentrated essence of economics is politics. So alongside the objective factors, subjective consciousness also counts. And the critical question also concerns how the contradiction between the two major powers plays out across the world amongst the other imperialist powers and the far more numerous emerging and developing powers, the extent to which these begin to question the reliability of the US as an ally and partner, and to loosen their ties to follow a new path, at once more independent and more cooperative, in a movement representing the true spirit of the UN Charter. We have to prepare for a rocky road ahead. The ruling classes and political elites are increasingly in chaos, but as the Chinese say, a crisis contains both danger and opportunity. The problem is that, as this manifesto so astutely exposes, consciousness remains clouded by the deceptions of social democracy and the failing of the left. And I speak here really of what I see of the Western left, which is incapable of comprehending the extent of the changes underway, let alone appreciating the opportunities, and often subverting labour and social movements with an outdated Cold War mentality. Here, the manifesto boldly steps forward, undaunted neither by the complexities nor the sheer scale of the challenges ahead. It sets out the terrain of struggle in such a way as to enable us to focus both on the particular crisis areas, be it of economy, inequality, the environment, public health, and so on, whilst maintaining perspective by keeping the whole picture in view, to find where doors may be opening to a better future. As such, it provides us with a springboard from which to keep abreast of upheavals ahead. to share ideas and to build up our position, to deepen our analysis and to start to engage the wider left to find the direction to socialism. Thank you very much.